Good afternoon, ladies. Welcome to the next block of the month. For October is the Raw Edge Applique, and we have done the in the hoop pop outs, and then quilting in the hoop, and today's is the Raw Edge Applique. Okay, so the Raw Edge Applique is a design that uses the cutwork needles, and another term for it would be reversed applique too. So there are several designs in your machine for Raw Edge Applique or reversed applique, and the easiest way to get it, let's see, got it, I gotta hang on, there we go. The easiest way to access it is to go to the settings, not that. Help Center is what I hit the wrong button, of course. Help Center, and when it opens up, this is the next screen. I'll go back to the beginning. So this is the opening screen. It's techniques and tutorials is the main screen, and then all of these different subcategories are in there as well. So I'm going to tap the techniques tutorials. I'm going to scroll across to embroidery techniques, tap the cutwork embroidery, and your handout went over these three different sections. This is the first one with the scissors, and when you open it up, okay, there are the directions to step-by-step do this cutwork with scissors. The content, sorry. There are only 8 designs that are cutwork with scissors. And once you create the cutwork with scissors, the only way you can convert it to the cutwork with the needles is to bring it into the software. And I'm not very good at that, so I'll just go with what's on the screen. Okay, the next one, back up to the Help Center. The next one is the cutwork with needles. And again, it gives you 16 pages of how to do the cutwork with needles, but that's what we're going to do today. And then the content, in this case, has 18 different designs. And these last 3 designs are in the quilt category. So that's the one I'm going to be using. I'll go back and access that in a second. Then the last one are the eyelets. And we've done eyelets in a number of different projects. Even Kimberbell is an eyelet where you put the little light through. So the eyelets in this machine there are only 6 of them. And actually we're going to use number 5 when we do the last class, and we're going to create our own design using number 5. So now I'll go back to cutwork with needles. Come on. And the content is number 18. So I'll load number 18. I'm using my 200 by 200 hoop. So I'm going to change my hoop to 200 to 200. And then I'll center it in the screen by going to Edit Design, selecting the move icon, which is this one right here, and tapping the center. And now it's in the center of my screen. just like that. That's rather easy. Are most of you watching today and then going back and doing it after? Or what'd you decide to do?
I probably am, Madeline, because I have to leave, so.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna watch, this is Kathy, I'm gonna watch today and stitch it out later. Thank you.
Okay. All right. And Pearl?
Not sure which way I'll go.
Okay. So, I did finish those little plate or napkin holders from last month. I put the cam snaps in them. I have to take a picture of it and then I'll post them. But this month, I didn't want to make a pillow. I didn't want to make another one of those cam snap placement or napkin holders. I decided I'm going to make a crossbody bag. And I found a pattern at the store, Lazy Girls pattern, and it's really simple. And the bottom part of the bag fits this design perfectly. I could even make it smaller, down to 8 by 8, but what I've decided is I'm going to make the bag bigger. So I'm going to make it 10. I'm going to use the actual square, 10 by 10. So I've been trying to figure out what to do with this fabric line. It's still in the new fabric sections. So every time that I go to work behind the counter, I keep thinking, what can I do with this fabric piece? So let me show you what my little samples here, what I put together.
Are you going to resize the design, or you're just gonna make it have more fabric around the edge?
Yeah, I'm just gonna use it as is, 10 by 10, so that would make it have a little bit more fabric around the outside. I kind of like to work in 10s. Easier to do the math.
Adeline,
Yeah,
when you used your 200 by 200 hoop, are you using your metal hoop or are you using a regular hoop?
I'm using the regular quilt hoop because it wouldn't work. I tried putting this 10 by 10 piece within the area of the hoop, and the magnets wouldn't fit all of them completely. So
Okay.
there's my fabric choice. That's it.
Oh,
I just love this modern look.
okay.
And then this is my matching. It's kind of a teal. It's hard to see the color of the fabric, but that's what I'm using today. Then I debated between an orange and a gold zipper, and the gold zipper went out. So I know you've seen these patterns 100 times, where you have the zipper going across like this, right?
Yes.
And then between the two sections, and then you have the clips to make the strap either longer or just a carry all. And so that's what I'm going to do. Hope to get it finished in between making pies. This is the best part of making pies. Even though I do make a mess, it's not the same as a kitchen mess. So you will need this piece, and I backed it. This is a 10 by 10 piece, and I backed it with the Shape Flex or the SF 101. I've always called it Shape Flex, and everybody else calls it SF 101, so that kind of makes it confusing. Then I cut a 10 by 10 piece of the print, and I starched it. I didn't starch it to make it stiff. I just starched it to add a little bit more body to the piece. Okay, then you will need your book. And in order to do follow the prompts in the book, I'm trying to find the pages on here. I should have put my marker in there. Here we go. So the design in your machine is listed as, it's the very, well, no, it's before the newest ones that they put in the quilt category. So it's number 9_38. So it is on page, no page.
No.
It's by the back of the book. They didn't number the pages. It's just before you hit the coffee section. And there are coordinating pieces. The design at the top here is an endless design. So you actually could put it around the border. And then here's the corner design. But what I thought is I would add the endless design at the top of the zipper part, but it doesn't fit. And that's one of the things that I wanted to point out today is when you do cut work, do not resize cut work. You need to do it as is in your machine. Or if you purchase collections of cut work designs, you need to do it in your machine, because changing and resizing will cause problems with the cut work needles, and that's what you don't want. You don't want any kind of issues. So I am using a dark blue color, and I'm getting ready to stitch out. So down here, I'm not changing anything. I'm not resizing. I'm not rotating. We're just bringing it up, or, sort of a basic plop and drop, and then hit go. And that brings the arm over, and I have to attach the quilter suit. Okie doke. And then it says, okay. All right. Now, let's talk about the color sequence. If we go into ghost mode, it will help us figure out which colors are which. So right now, ghost mode is selected, and these curly cues are the first color. Where's my design? So what I did in my design, all right. Oh, hello, Prudence. You made it. Okay. All right. All right, Prudence, we're on our way. So basically what it is these curly cues are the first color. Now I am going to use the dark green for all of them. The differences between these two colors is just to make a color stop in the design. You can change the colors, of course. And in the book, they actually do 2 shades of blue, a dark blue and then a light blue, or a teal kind of blue. And then the next 2 color changes are actually the cutwork needles. And then we'll stop and talk about the cutwork needles. And then if I tap this, you'll see that there is a box right here. There's a box around the whole entire design. Mm-hmm. That's to anchor the second piece. Okay. Then the next one is to do the finishing stitches. This goes pretty fast. The reason you don't cut it until the end is that, okay, sometimes there's 2 different thoughts on this. There's 2 different thoughts. Sometimes you finish and cut the pieces like we did the cutwork bag, the sachet bag, after, because they're holding on to the pieces and there's satin stitching and all of that going on. Then you cut at the end. So when you use the cutwork needles in the traditional sort of way, then you don't cut until the very end. And those little pieces are hanging on by, you know, chads, the little connecting bridges. This design, you're going to want to cut it out following the prompts on the screen. So it says cut inside the marked areas if not using the Inspira cutwork needles. So in other words, if you're going to use the needles, don't cut it out because the needles will cut the entire piece out in the raw edge applique. Does that make sense? So cutwork, the traditional kind of cutwork where the needles cut it out and then go back and do the satin stitching, they kind of hang on, but these should cut out. We'll see. Okay, that's my prediction. Any questions so far? No? All right, so I'm going to scroll back to the beginning. And I am going to center up my design. So let me go over here. Oopsie. So, you know, some of you know that I do the cheater way, right? Where's my, right here. So what I usually do is I fold the fabric in quarters. So I fold it in half and finger press, and then fold it in half again and finger press. Okay. So now I have a visual center. I haven't marked anything with a fabric marker or anything. Now what I'm going to do is at the bottom of the screen, I'm going to select precise positioning. And we'll see. And when you take a look at that screen, I am going to be working with points 1 and 2. Points 1 and 2 are basically where the needle is traveling. So right now, that's the first stitch of the design. That will jump to that stitch when we're done here. What I want to do is take that design, that green plus, active plus sign, and move it in the center. I could do that easily, but how accurate it would be, I don't know. To make it accurate though, these 5 icons, upper left, upper right, lower left, and center brings your active green plus to the exact center. And now I'm going to lock it in place. We all have different terminologies for how we describe this process. And that's my terminology. So then when I'm done, don't forget to hit OK, because it'll still beep at you. Now, by doing that, I wanted to show you that it goes back up to the first stitch. So now I'm going to access this again. And the precise positioning is right here. I'm going to tap the center. There it is. Now I'm going to lock it in place. And now when I go back to where I'm stitching, I move my fabric to that point. And this is what I call the cheater way, because the point is right here. Well, I'm not going to use a pen. Ooh, that. Okay. So the point is right there. Okay, and then I line it up. Now when I hit OK, it goes back to the very center, but I'm going to select the base mode. And I am going to baste around the hoop. That's the difference. We're going to baste around the hoop. And hopefully it'll fill it up. Let me turn on a couple of lights here. Maybe you can see a little bit better. Let's try that. Maybe I'll turn this one off. I don't know if that's any better or not. Okay, so I'm going to select based around the hoop. Hit OK. All right, here we go. And the fabric piece should be big enough that it will baste the whole entire fabric down to my stabilizer. I hooped tearaway stabilizer actually right in the hoop. Now, and I like to just smooth it out, being careful not to sell my finger.
Did you, Adeline, did you put shape flex on both pieces?
No. Mm-mm. Just on what I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to put fusible fleece on the back of this front piece to give the crossbody bag a little bit more body.
So this is the one you use, the one that you're doing now is the one that has shape flex or no?
Yes, this is the only
Okay.
one that has shape flex.
Okay.
And I'll do the same to the top piece. I'll put shape flex on that top piece when I go to sew the zippers together. I mean, you sew the zipper to those two pieces. So the front will have an extra barrier of shape flex, and then the back, I probably will do the back too. So they're even. And then I'll put fleece, fusible fleece on both of them just to get, I don't want to use the NR foam or the soft and stable. It would make it firm, yes, but I'm looking for something that's a little more pliable. We actually signed up for a cruise in March. So this was my intention, make a little crossbody bag. And I was going to just make up the pattern. And then I saw the pattern in the store and I'm thinking, okay, this is well worth the $10. Buy the pattern. All right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start with color number 1. I'm going to close up my screen so I can see. Can you see this is the hoop? So hang on, maybe I can get us going the other way. Oops. Or maybe not. Oh, sorry about that. Okay. Don't look. There. I have to figure that out in a little bit. Okay, so now the first color. And this design is actually short enough that I can do it right on screen. And when I tap the stitch out, it's 4 minutes for this color. I think it'll be pretty. I don't know. I have a picture in my mind and I'm not sure it's going to look like that or not. Great. Looking for something. I'm going to make this one. So I turned off the cutter. You can choose to turn it on or turn it off. It's up to you. Also, I'm gonna check and see how this stitching looks. I might turn off the active stitch technology. Kathy, what we tend to do with the active stitch technology is whenever we're doing just basic straight stitching or like edge to edge, we turn off the active stitch technology because the active stitch technology is geared more for the needle going left and right or satin stitch, zigzag stitch, something along that type of configuration. So a lot of times I'll get loops on the back from the active stitch technology trying to meter the thread while doing essentially a running stitch. So I'm going to take a look and see.
That's good to know. Thank you for the clarification.
You're welcome. Yeah, it's okay. Let's see. It's okay. I'll get it closer. Maybe you can see it. It's okay. But I think, see, I knew I was going to cause a problem here. Almost lost you guys. Okay. Okay. So this is all stitched out now. Now I'm going to go to the next color. And the next color is going to be the tulip outlines. And then the center right here. All right, here we go. I'm not changing the color. The whole thing is going to be in this dark, dark green. And here we go. All righty. I know. I don't know how that happened, but I'm going to rethread the needle. So now it's going to stitch the circle. It fell down a little bit, guys. I gotta bring it back up again. And then it jumps to the tulip design. Okay, I know you can't see it, but I'm going to go back and redo the beginning of the stitches here after this is all done. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you a couple things. The next part is to put on the cutwork needles. But what I'm going to do is the center here didn't stitch completely. So I am just going to go back to the beginning of number 2, stitch that very beginning, and then go back to 3. Then we'll talk about the cutwork needles. All righty. I'm gonna stitch it twice. Okay. Alrighty. I'm gonna see if I can move my tablet a little bit without losing the whole doggone thing. Alrighty. Well, that's not cooperating. All right. Had to use my muscles. Oh, no. All right. There, that's the look I want. Okay. Is that better? You can see more of what I'm stitching. Okay, let's talk about cutwork needles. If you haven't purchased the cutwork needles, I highly recommend, obviously you can't do this project, but I highly recommend that you purchase them because they really are a much easier way to do cutwork, especially if you have any arthritis in your hands. So when they come in a package, they all have a color band to them. And color number 1 is red. Each machine company that manufactures cutwork needles for their particular machine, their colors are different. And essentially the angles are the same, but it just may be the way that the needles are inserted. Typically, we use the red and the yellow needle most of the time. This is a 90-degree, and then this is maybe a 135. I'm not quite sure. But these are the 2 that we use the most, especially with the designs that are built into the machine. So it's really very simple to do this. Not hard at all, so don't panic. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the thread out and the bobbin out. All right, because we don't need the thread to do cutwork. And the reason we're taking the bobbin out is because each time that needle goes down into the bobbin area, it can actually grab the thread and cut it. And how I know that for a fact is that one of the customers left the bobbin in and it messed up her machine badly. And that is operator error, so she actually had to pay for it. So there are a couple ways to do it. What I do is I usually just leave no bobbin in it. Then the message for the bobbin, the empty bobbin pops up. I ignore it. I don't touch okay. I just ignore it and let it continue to cut the fabric. The other way is if you have the felting accessory kit. Here's the felting accessory kit. And there's a little felted flower. And in it, we have a piece that fits right in the bobbin area. And because the felting needles just pound away at it, that is an alternative if you choose. I'm going to try it without. Okay. And I think we have enough interest to do the felting project. So that's what I'm going to do for our sew along this month on the Facebook page. And I know, Janet, you said you had the needles. I mean, the felting attachment.
Yes.
Yeah. Pearl, do you have them?
She doesn't. Pearl, you're muted.
Do you have the
I
felting?
will look.
Oh, okay. I have a couple of samples that I've done that I can show you guys, but I'm also probably going to do a couple more. And then I got a little project in mind. So we'll see how it goes. This one is not going to be as long as the first one because there's not that much involved. So, all right. So now I'm going to remove the needle. Take the needle out and put in the red needle. The needle, the cutwork needle with the red band. Okay. So it looks like that. I don't know if you can see that or not. Yeah. Okay. Flat part to the back. Make sure you loosen that and push it up all the way into the machine. Then slide your throat plate back on. I get a little nervous whenever I do this, but we'll see how it goes today. All right, you ready? Here we go. Oh, I got to be on the right one. Make sure you're on number 3. Double check because you'll see too. Let me show you this. The ghost view is a little different because what you see is the connectors right here. So those are the connectors that, and the purpose of the connectors is to make sure those pieces don't fall apart and down underneath everything and make another big mess. All righty. Here we go. And so the message, the warning message popped up. I'm just going to ignore it. And then it says to cut and remove thread. Hit OK. And we're off. Let's slow this down. There. Oh, no. Come on. So what happened is my package fell on the floor and they all slid underneath my cabinet.
Now, just a silly question, but why is the applique fabric not on there?
Not yet. You got to cut it out.
Not
first.
yet. Okay.
Because it's raw edge or a reverse applique.
Okay.
So rather
I don't-
than waste time today, I will take out my second package of cutwork needles. Fortunately, I have 3 of them. I can't believe that. Oh, I just can't believe it. Oh, seriously?
I don't think I have the felting needles. I have 2 packages of yarn embellished yarn.
Oh,
Embroidery.
couching. Oh,
Yeah, I have 2 packages of them.
yeah. Oh, look what I found.
What is it?
Well, it's a plastic sleeve for the thread. One of the cutwork needles. Or
Is it
regular
magnetic?
needle.
Is it magnetic?
Yeah, this is a magnetic tool, yeah. I can't live without these. Let's see what else is under there. Oh, a pair of snips. Look. What else? To move this cabinet. Oh, there's the blue one. To move this cabinet, I have to take my machine off. Oh yeah, it's just too much. I'm gonna try my luck here. It's like at the fair where the kids go fishing and try and get the little ducky. There's a green one. All right, let's see how we're doing with our design. Yellow one. Okay. So then the yellow one is second. The green one is third. And they're all magnetized now. And the blue is fourth. I watched these YouTube videos with these crafters, and one time the lady set her desk on fire. She was using a heat gun, I guess, and started something on fire. Well, I haven't done that yet. Wonder if this needle is any good. All righty. You should be able to see like a little white edge all the way around the fabric. All right, let's see what else I have. I have dirt, lots of dirt. All right, there we go. This one should go pretty fast. All right, let's see if I can find Lazy Girl. It's called the roundabout bag. Runaround, the runaround bag. Looks really simple to do. I think it'll be just fine. Okay. We're done. So now what we do is we take out and change to the cutwork needle, the yellow one. So I always put them back right away, just in case something happens, you know, like the package falls on the floor. All right. And I'm gonna insert that all the way. I was gonna check to see in the book if it tells you the angles. I found that randomly one day, the angle of a needle. Okay. Sure hoop, stream hoop, cutwork. Okay, let's see. And no, it doesn't say exactly. Okay. And we're off. Okay. And what that is doing is I have the cutter turned off, so.
Now, Adeline, when you were looking for the angles, you use the other presser foot, right? You don't use the single hole. Is that
Oh,
right?
yeah, I didn't change it.
So
I
it's not a single hole, right?
It's not a single hole, but
Okay.
I'm not sure. It
Probably wouldn't fit in it, right? Those cutters.
No, the needle goes up and down. The needle should fit. But I just didn't think to change it in my fighting with technology here. I completely forgot. Oh yeah, the hole is big enough, Janet.
I just looked for I was looking in the underneath in the back cover,
Uh-huh.
in the front cover, and that's where it said that. For best results, use straight stitch plate.
Where are you in the manual? Where are you?
Under the first cover.
Okay.
I was just looking to see if it had the angles there, and that's what I found.
Yeah, so it does say you could use a straight stitch plate. So, because look at the, here's the hole. See? And that will go through there. There's plenty of room for that to go through.
Okay.
But it's just going up and down, up and down, up and down. So, yeah, like I said, I forgot because, yeah, technology. I'll blame it on that.
I'll be back, okay?
All right. Go get your grandkids. Does anybody else have any questions while we're watching this cut? That's ready to have. Okay, we're still recording. That's good. And what it basically does is with those connectors, all we should need to do is just take our scissors and snip those. Now it's cutting the center. All righty, so I'm gonna take this out. And there's my piece of fabric that I'm going to put back in there. And what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to show you the samples that I did. So I'm going to turn this the other way right now. And go back for a minute. And right here, I have a couple of the samples from the other classes. So this was the first class that I did, oh, I don't know, a couple months ago, I guess. This one is the design that uses the cutwork needles. And so you basically are cutting those holes out. Then it also, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it also has the eyelets right there. And so that's why this design combines eyelets and cutwork. Oops, wrong way. Cutwork with scissors. These two, my mat is so bad, I have to get a new one. These two are the same design. And these, we use the cutwork needles to cut all the holes out here, and then went back and did the stitching, the satin stitching after. Here's another one. This one you can see a little bit better. And you can see where we cut the holes out with the needles. So now what we're going to do is we're going to cut. Let's see if I can get a better picture view here. Hopefully you'll be able to see. Which one am I going this way? And then there's little connectors right there. That's the one. So we're just going to cut these out, and the rest of it should cut out easily. Now you probably will have to go back and do some cleaning up. You know what? Let me get some little bit longer snips. Let's try these. There's just a little bit of a, oh, you can't see that. Just a little bit of a connector right there. And then here. Sometimes it's just hanging on by a thread. Okie doke. Just, can you see that there? That little piece where it's connected? It's hanging on by just a thread. I think I'm going to go back in a minute and clean this all up. All righty. Okay, now let me move things around a little bit so you don't have to look at my dirty mat. Hopefully this will show up a little bit more. So if you want, you can clean off the fuzzies here. If there's any threads. It does a pretty good job, but there's just, you know, some threads. Whiskers is what I call them. So you can go back and clean up the whiskers. Okay, I'm not going to do that now because the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the hoop over. And I'm going to lay down the fabric on the back side, just like that. Then I'm going to take out my tape. And I can't remember if I had that on the supply list or not, but you're at home, so hopefully you have it handy. And oops, make sure it's nice and flat so you don't get a ripple in the fabric. I might have to add a little bit more tape. Not happy with that. So you see how I've added the tape? I'm going to put another piece right here. Disaster waiting to happen. Okay, now don't forget to take out your cutwork needle and put in the bobbin. That's your next step. So that's what it's going to look like right there. And I think I'll clean up a few of these threads. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my stabilizer and float a piece of stabilizer under here. You can use water soluble, and typically in the cutwork directions, that's what they recommend. So now I'm going to tape a piece of wash away on the back, and I'll show you that. I cut a gigantic piece. A 10 by 10 would have been enough. And the reason, I'm sure you guys have figured this out, but the reason I tape it down is so it doesn't move. And get bunched up. So it looks like this. Okay, I just put it right back here. Now, before I put my hoop in, I'm going to change, make sure I put my bobbin back in. If you're going to do anything with a cutwork that is the traditional cutwork, and it's going to be two-sided. Typically, you would put the same colored thread in the bobbin and that matches the top. But with this, I'm gonna cover it up with fusible fleece, so there's no need to really do it. Oh, now put my needle back in, make sure you tighten that up. Oops. Oh, I have to sit down to do this. Okey-doke. There we go. All right. Hey, it looks good. Double check and make sure it's, when you slide it under there that it's rather flat. So you don't get any tufts. Just like that. Yeah, it's good. All right, now I'm gonna go cut those few little whiskers here. Need to stitch those down. And then I hit OK on the screen, hit OK for the bobbin. And then that's the first stitch in number 5. So probably should thread the needle.
That would be helpful.
Now, if the needle doesn't thread, then make sure you unscrew that and tuck it back up inside. Okay. So let me see where our first stitch is. So this is basting that piece of fabric down. And if you want, at that point, you can remove some of the tape. But do you see how that bastes right inside that basting line? That's why I basted originally around the hoop and not around the design. Oops. Okay, so what it did is it jumped right to the next stitch out. So there was no pause in between. Because there was no color change. And now it's going to, you know what? Hang on. I don't need to sew my fingers. I don't think I have an awl. Same number. So do you see what it's doing? Going around the tulip again, where it cut, where it stitched down before. Okay. Over here. That makes you nervous. You can actually put a little bit of fabric glue back there so it stays. But please don't put your finger in there. All right, next one. You know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut some of these jump stitches. So they don't get hung up. Cut that jump stitch. All right, now all of these have been stitched down. So the last step is the buttonhole stitch all the way around. Let me make sure I get that. Okay, here we go. Oh, did it again. All right, I'm gonna go back to that, repeat that color again. There we go. All right. It stays in there now. See what it does? And it neatly grabs the raw edges and stitches the whole that 1/8 of an inch down with the V-stitch. Or the buttonhole stitch. Or the pin stitch. They're all essentially the same. I like the way that looks. Could probably speed it up. See, this is why sometimes I remove the thread, the tape, I'm sorry, because sometimes when the hoop is moving, it sticks to the machine. Looks good. I could probably turn the cutter back on. Maybe I'll do that. So if I go into settings I should be able to turn it back on. Let's see if it works. I'm going to cross my fingers that it says it's still recording, so hopefully this will be recorded. I'm glad this big swath of orange is showing. Because if there was only a little bit or not hardly any at all, it would have looked weird with the orange zipper or the no, gold zipper I meant. Get there. See when it just covers that little bit of extra fabric there and stitches it down. This is a well digitized design. Last one. While we're watching that finish up, talk about a little bit about the next block is going to be using the texture hoop. And I'm not quite sure how many of you have the texture.
Do we have to have it?
No, you do not. You can actually do a design without it.
Okay. What's the purpose of a textured hoop then?
Well, it holds the ribbons down. So
Oh.
your design just wouldn't have all the extra fancy ribbons and yarns and that sort of thing.
Okay.
So. All righty, and we're done. Okay, so let's see how we fared underneath. Not bad. I did. See, I did get a few pulled over, but nothing that would keep this design from stitching out. Cut all your jump stitches there. All righty. So I'm going to remove the tape first. And I recycle. I just put them on the edge of my desk here. And then you cut the washable first. See if I can do it over here so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to go along and just cut this off. And then I can, I probably should remove the basting from both of those before I start snipping away. So with my seam ripper. Let me turn it this way. And go ahead and grab these. It is easier if you do the back side first. It'll come out in one big thread. Look it up. I'll just now we got all kinds of stabilizer we're connected to, and it may have been easier just to rely on the basting stitch to hold that other piece down, but I like to base mine down whenever I'm not hooping the actual project. I just never know what kind of mess I'll create if I don't. All right. Okay. So now we finish. And I can just remove some of this. Boy, is this a mess? I'm trying not to cut my fabric is what I'm trying not to do. Either way, because what happens is you end up with a sandwich. You have this sandwiched in here, this sandwiched in there. So if I start cutting with the scissors, I might accidentally cut one of them. So I'm just gonna be a brute here and rip it out. There we go. All right. Okay. Because now we have to get as much stabilizer out as we can. If you don't want all that stabilizer left in, then what you actually should do is use the water soluble, but use 2 layers. So that there's not a lot of stabilizer left in your project. All right, let me see what's going on here. There's not too much left in there. I think that holds it down. I think I'm good. So it looks like this. All righty. Right there. So I like that. I think that turned out the way I had imagined it in my mind.
Good.
So. Now, if you are putting this in the block in the quilt, then what you'll do is when we go to cut it down, then we'll do a little bit more trimming. But for now, you can just set this block aside. All right. Because we will trim this down for the wall hanging, and I have to see what I want to do for my little bag yet. Not quite sure. Gotta play around with it. So, all righty. Now, let's flip this the other way. Whoops. There we go. And then I am going to go back to embroidery edit. And then I'm going to delete it, long hold. And delete all. Now the butterflies or the flowers. Let me get my quilt. Back on the chair. Here we go. So what I did after, it needed something. So I thought, well, maybe if I just do some freestanding flowers or butterflies or designs. Let's see, like this. Right here's the butterfly. I don't know if you can see that one very well. Let's see, there's another one here too. And there's another one right there. Now, what I did with these is I hooped water soluble stabilizer in my small hoop. So this one had antenna. So this was a smaller one. I'll show you where these are in a minute. And I just cut the antenna off. This particular texture hoop design includes these ribbons right here. Without the ribbons, you'll have this fan look and then these candle wicking stitches, which is fine. That was just that's just a little bit added dimension. This design is included in the class. Okay. Now these flowers here, I'll show you those too, because what I did is we ordered some. Do any of you remember the Texture Magic from, I don't know, several years ago? And you stitch with it and then it shrinks it.
Yes.
Okay, that's what this is how I did these flowers. And I'll show you where to find those too. And so I did put a little piece of organza in there because all of these stitches would have fallen apart. Okay?
Yes.
We're going to do that next. Now, let's go over here to the screen. And what I'm going to do is there's two categories you can select here. You can select let me back out a minute. Go into your flower here. And in the flowers and leaves, if you scroll down, see these flowers right here? These are all dimensional flowers. And then there's some more right here. So you can do any one of those flowers. This one happens to be the one we used, this one here for the pop-up. This is another pop-up design. And that is another flower as well. Whoops. No, we don't want to do that. Now we already did that. Let's try this again. So if you continue, there's some other dimensional flowers. And these are the ones that I used right here.
What numbers, please?
78, 79, or 80.
Whoops.
Okay.
Are they all the same size or what?
They appear to be, but it doesn't matter because what's going to happen is when you hit the fabric with your iron, it shrinks them right up so they look kind of crinkly, which is the look I was going for.
Is that the one you use the organza in?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you.
And there it is. And probably I should change the color so you can actually see it. And one of the ways to change the color is when you go into the edit colors, you tap the first color here. And then it says select same. So when you select same, it highlights all of them. And that's the easiest way to do it. That's a change feature from the icon to the icon 2. I like that feature. Then I can change the color, and if I wanted to, I could actually pick a specific color. So for example, this is RA Rayon 40, and if I tap that, it shows all the colors that are included in that RA Rayon 40. Or if I tap the flyout, now I can pick the other companies that I might want to use. And they still haven't updated Floriani, so I'm going to pick another one. Let's see if they have Glide. Okay. So I have Glide Poly. Yep, I have Glide Poly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select Glide Poly. And then I can actually type in the number here, which the number is, let's see if I can read that. $80134. Let's try that. 80134 and hit OK. And it's this pale yellow called buttermilk. And I'm going to hit OK. That's it right there. See it right there?
Mhm.
So now when I come back over to the screen, all of it is still selected. So what I want to do is deselect them, if you will. And now on the screen, the center is all of those. Now, if I want to change the outline, now I have to find it first in the design. And that's the last one. See, that was the only one that didn't get highlighted. So I'm going to tap that. And now I'm going to change that. And I don't have a lot of Glide. I was looking for something that I knew was in the database. Let me, I do have a few RA threads. I'm looking around my room to see if I have something I can use. Oh, I do have another Glide thread. Hang on. This is going to be an interesting flower. Is that? Oh no, I have a Hemingsworth. Okay, so let me see if I can find that. Oh, there we go. Hemingsworth Poly 40. And the color that I have is 1, 2, 3, 4. And didn't change it. Let me delete all that, see what I can do. Well, cancel. Oh, now it changed it. I guess I was faster than the machine. And so it is, it's a deep red. So now that's what my flower is going to look like. Okay. I don't know if any of you have tried that yet or not.
No.
It's
No, I
kind of
haven't.
neat. Yeah, it's kind of neat, but unfortunately, Floriani isn't listed. So I have the majority of Floriani, but then I have these random spools of thread too.
What
Yeah.
about the Texture Magic? Is that still available?
We have it at the store. It's another name. I had Kathy set it aside.
Okay.
I'll have to get with you the name of it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We finished our design, Janet. And now we're doing one of those dimensional flowers. Okay?
Mhm.
So let me see if I have it handy what we're gonna use. I might. That would be unusual. I actually had it. Okay, not in that drawer. Yeah. One surprise. Every time I clean my room, I move something and then I can't find it. All right, let me get a piece of organza though. Now, this is the organza from Joann's. It's nothing wonderful. It's a
What's the
poly-
steps? What's the steps for laying it down on the hoop?
Hang on.
Okay.
That's up next.
Thanks.
So one of the things I want to point out is if you're going to use something other than white or black, you're going to need to wind the bobbin to match. So let me just cut a piece of this. And then we'll call up our design. Oh. We got to go back to embroidery edit.
Is this in place of the butterfly? Is this just like a freestanding lace?
This was the flower. So I wanted to show you how I did a flower that wasn't already set up to be a freestanding design.
Okay.
So I have to change my hoop to 120 by 120. And the flower, Janet, was 78 in the flower section.
Okay.
And here it is. So now I just got to bring it in. And remember when it goes outside, whoops, sorry, wrong hoop, wrong icon. When it goes outside the hoop area, this icon pops up to bring it back in. Otherwise, it will not let you stitch it out. So now when I highlight it, I can go ahead and put it back in the center. And then I can select go. Okay, now I can attach the right hoop. Since I randomly picked colors, I'm gonna leave the white in. I'll show you the sample so you understand what I mean. I think you can probably figure it out. All right, so stick this in here. And then I'm gonna go to my first color, which is the yellow gold. There we go. All right. So now my first stitch out is this flower. So I'm laying down. Now let me find it in the book for you. Maybe that'll help. So if you look in the section with the bigger designs, you'll see where this fits in. Flowers, section number 3. There we go. No page number again. So 78 is the smaller one. So this is the design. See that big design?
Mhm.
And that is the other pop-up design. And let me show you here too. So this is the other pop-up design right here. And what you do basically is you sew out all this green first, and then each of these flowers gets placed on top of that stitch out.
We're losing your volume.
I'm losing my volume?
Yeah, now you're back again.
Okay, so what happens is each of these flowers get stitched on like we did with the pop-up design.
Correct.
So that's how that was designed, that design with that intention in mind. We're
Okay.
going to use just the individual flowers. So the one that I picked was 78 millimeters by 76 millimeters, which is about a 3-inch flower. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the first stitch out is where you put the fabric down. So here's what we're going to do. So we'll stitch this out.
Is that Aqua Magic that you hooped or something like that?
I'm sorry,
Aqua Magic and one layer?
one layer.
Okay.
Okay, now I put the fabric, the organza, there it is. But if I had my other, I would put that with it
At the same time?
at the same time. Yep.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. I hadn't really planned on doing this step, but I had so much extra time, I added it in.
Right.
And why did you put the organza down? I missed that.
Because it's an applique, it would have just all fallen apart. The stitches are
Oh, okay.
nothing to hang on to. All right, now don't forget that we have, I'll show you something. we have this hoop position icon right here.
Yeah,
And I can select the trim position. And it brings my hoop forward. So that I can just trim this fabric away. So what color number 1 is the placement stitch. Color number 2 is the tack down. And then color number 3 is the, it's a zigzag stitch to tack it down
Yeah.
some more. It's the underlay for the satin stitch. I'm gonna take this off.
What was the other fabric that you said you didn't have, Adeline?
Oh, it's this shrink stuff and I can't find it. And I can't remember that. Kathy ordered it for me. I'll get the name of it and send it to you guys, okay?
Okay.
Because I don't make Texture Magic anymore.
Mm.
And
unless
they
you've got, unless you got some in the house yet.
Yes, absolutely. And then the one that I use for Floriani, they don't make that one anymore either. So we had to dig and find a brand that we could actually still get a hold of.
Right.
And then I wish I-
Before you go and leave us today, would you talk about Hocus Pocus a little bit?
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
just, you may not want to do it on recording. I don't know. It's your choice, but I just wanted to.
Oh, no. We can, yeah, I'll pause the recording and then we'll go from there. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Uh-huh. All right, so now I am going to go back to the current stitch or just hit the go button and it brings me back. So now it's doing a little zigzag stitch. To make sure this organza stays down. Now what it's going to do is it's going to do the inside. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm manually going to change that to the red. So this stays the satin stitch. You could, I did mine all in one color. I selected pink. Well, trying to find the end of the thread. Okay. All right, so now what I'm going to do is the inside part of the flower. It's going to be all that dark red. Okay. One more. Well, it definitely is missing in my room here. I have several hidden spots I can look though. Yeah, sure can. I know I'll find it another time when I'm not looking for it, like I did my buttonhole foot. Or my button foot. Okay, doke. All right, now I'll go back and finish
Did
the,
you, Adeline, did you just use one layer of the textured magic or whatever product it's called now?
yes, yes, I did.
Thank you.
One layer was plenty. No idea where I put it. I'm kind of irritated with myself here. Okay, now it'll do the satin stitch.
What did that texture magic come? I feel like I bought that
Oh,
at one point.
before Lori, Tess would have, I think maybe somebody did a project with it. Chris, maybe?
Yes, that's what I think I had it for.
Mm-hmm.
But did it just come in like a sleeve or
Yeah, just a plastic sleeve. It was folded up inside
look?
plastics. It's not, in my room, it's not where it's supposed to be.
I don't remember what we did, but it was with Chris. Somehow I did something.
I'm gonna look again. I got other holes.
I used a lot of it when I was working with Jenny Haskins products. She was into working with textured magic designs a lot.
Who was it?
Jenny Haskins.
Oh, yes, yes. Uh-oh.
Found my Mylar.
Yeah, I found Floriani's Stitch and Wash.
Come over with it.
Bird's nest. You all probably didn't hear that. It was pulling terrible. I don't know why. You know, I always look to see if it's caught somewhere, but it wasn't. All right. I'm gonna back it up. And, oh, shoot, too. Oh, yeah. It pulled my fabric right out. my applique fabric. All right, so let me see if I can go back and catch that back in. If not, you know, there's always fabric glue. There we go. Oh, that sounds better. What is the problem? You know, it wants to act up, but it's not gonna tell me why. All right, so you know what this means, don't you? This means we get the old screwdriver, pop out the plate, do a little cleaning. Oh, there's some thread. Look at that. And it didn't yell at me. Just see what I'm digging out.
Is that from the cut work?
No, it's the gold and the red that I stitched out that got caught. Must be because I have the cutter on. I think I'll turn off the cutter. So now with the cut work, what a mess. The book tells you to clean it out. Somehow I skipped that step. Because cut work is messy. See my mess? All that lint. Okay. Well, that should help. I'm gonna turn off the cutter too. I don't need any extra grief. Come on. There we go. Okay. What's nice about this machine as opposed to the Icon is you can turn off. Wait, I think you could have with the Icon too, but some of the other machines in the line, you can't. You have to go back out to turn off any of those functions. All righty. Okay. Good thing this is just a sample. Okay, there we go. I'm wearing all the thread. Caught it. All right, let me check one more time. Well, guess I'm gonna have to buy another package. It is definitely missing. You know, you could do too, you could put a little bit of Mylar in there. I think that would look cool. It wouldn't, Mylar is usually designed for multiple stitches, you know, so it holds it down and just gives a little twinkle. I don't know if it would work or not. But I would experiment.
What about the glitter?
Oh, definitely
Sheets.
the glitter, yeah, definitely. But it won't shrink up then
Right,
when you use the glitter, so.
right.
Right. Okay, so this is the one that I use, 78. Oh, my phone is beeping. Every time I change thread or finish a design, I hear my phone ding. It's the monitor on my phone. Okay, let's take a look at what I've done here. So. All righty, so right here I have my flower design, and on the back, see, you can still see all the colors. Whereas the one that I did for the quilt or the wall hanging, you can see right here that the back side is the same color. And then when I hit the fabric with the steam, then it curled up. So then there was nothing in the middle, because this design, when you go to stitch it on the main design, this gets filled in. So what I did then is I added the crystals here, the hot fix crystals. So there's the hot fix crystals are in there. And then here's my butterfly. Now I'll show you the butterflies that I used. So all you have to do with this one now is just go around and cut it and then rinse it out. You've done things like that, haven't you? Did you hear me, ladies?
Yes.
Okay. I feel like I'm talking to myself. All righty, now let's get rid of this design. Now, if I wanted to save those colors, I would have had to save that whole design. But since I don't need the color specifically, then I could just call it up again. Okay, so now I'm going to go into the birds and insects. And these are interesting. I used some of them on this wall hanging that I did, but I sure didn't use all these creepy crawly things. Not quite certain why they included those creepy crawly things on our machine, but anyhow. All right. So these are the butterflies, right? So this butterfly here, if you long hold on it.
The number.
I'll look it up. Hang on, let me go back. 18, Pearl.
Yep, thank you.
And that one is the one without the antenna. So you know when you look at it and you look at the layers. So it doesn't show you the, oh, you gotta go in the colors, sorry. And when you go in here, then you can see the different layers.
Right.
But what you want to do then is at least change a couple of the bobbins to match the top thread that you've selected. Because when those pull up, you'll definitely see those. Now, the next one, the next size up is this one here. And that's much larger. And basically what I did, I didn't use this one. Oh, no. I don't want to delete all of them, just one. See if it'll let me. What I basically did is I stitched this one, then I made another copy. Brought it, whoops, wrong. Where's my copy? Right there. When I go back and forth between the two machines, I get so confused. All right. So this one, if you go into resize, which is the button right down here,
Mhm.
you can actually resize that and make it larger so that it will recalculate the stitches. And then you can make it larger. So you can use, I think it would be nice to have a couple of them, the small one and like a medium one and then a large one kind of in a row. I don't know, I'm just designing in my head. And then you would hit OK. And actually those two fit in the hoop. That I would put double stabilizer. That's a lot of stitches. I would make sure that I doubled up the water soluble. Okay, now the other thing I was going to share with you is, I don't know if you guys follow anything when they're on the blog. So if I'm going to delete that one. Delete all. And you do it basically the same way. You're just going to follow the prompts. That particular butterfly doesn't need a piece of fabric. That one is designed to be freestanding. If you go into the blog, so I'm going to go up here and I go into my Sonnet. Let me see if I can find this one. The one that I'm referencing here. Let's see how far I can go. There it is. So it's under the heading Preserve the Summer. And what it actually is a frame of a butterfly, two butterflies, as if they were, what are those things called when you do it in science? You put the little T-pins in them to mount the butterflies. That's what I'm trying to say.
And how did you find that?
I went into my Sonnet.
Yep.
And I selected here, I'll go back again. I went into my Sonnet. And then the blog pops up.
Right.
And I just scrolled, kept on scrolling until I found the post, Preserve the Summer. And they call it entomological specimen.
I think I have it on my, oh yeah, I see it now.
Mhm. You all should have it. You all should have it on your machine. And
Well,
if you tap
right,
the blue hyperlinks here,
yep,
it will load it directly into your cloud.
okay,
Okay. So that what you have first is the background, which
Right.
includes the antenna. And
Right.
then the next one, whoops, is the butterfly without the antenna.
wow,
Okay. So
yes,
then what I can do is I can go back to the main screen, go into embroidery, go into my folder. Now I have a lot of designs in my folder. So it might be a minute before I get all the way down to end. Oh, there it is. What did I rename it? Butterfly. There it is. That's it right there.
How much stuff can you save in there, Adeline?
Well, I'm at 3/4 full. I need to clean house. So it's 1 gig.
That's a lot, though. I mean,
I know I filled it up a lot.
I know.
So there is another butterfly without the antenna. So that is designed as freestanding too. So then you can stitch out that butterfly and use that as well. So you actually have 2 freestanding butterflies, one inside the birds and insects category, and then this one under the My Sewnet blog. Okay,
mhm,
now you should also have, if you save both of them, the background where the butterfly antenna is. So let me delete this and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go back into my folder and I'm going to keep scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. That should start with an N. Oh man, I got to get in here and clean house. I think I'm going to have to do it on my laptop through the actual My Sewnet delete folders. There it is. Okay, now let me choose a bigger hoop. See it? So what you do is you stitch this out on your piece of fabric, including this nomenclature here. And
Mhm.
then when you get to this step, it forms, let's see if I can find it for you. It might be here, I don't know. No, it's gonna have to be in the colors. Oh, it's all as one. So then what you do is you lay the butterfly down right there, and then it jumps and stitches it down for both of those. And then lastly, it does the outside for the frame. So it's kind of cool. I was thinking about doing it just for something to do, like I don't have anything to do. I only have a few more pies to make. So does anybody have any questions?
I have a question, but doesn't pertain to this particular project.
All right, let's answer the questions regarding the project first, and then I'll shut off the
Yes.
recording, okay? Anybody have any questions on your project? So don't forget, you're just going to cut this out and then rinse it. See, like that. And then you're going to just do a free motion stitch here to stitch it on once you're all done with your wall hanging.
Right.
And then cover the stitching with you could use a button or you can use crystals, whichever.
Or you could use one of those centers like Nadine does all the time, right? Or
Oh,
not?
yeah, yeah. Yep, just in the knitting designs. Yep, you sure could. But remember that you
You're
put this
putting this
on,
on after it's quilted though, right?
right, and so
Yeah.
you'll have a lot
Yeah.
of stitches showing on
Yeah,
the back.
yeah.
This way, you won't have as many.
But now, did you say that Kathy got some of that shrink stuff if I can't find it?
Oh, definitely. It's in the
Okay.
drawer. I know it is.
Okay,
She was just waiting for this class, and I actually wasn't going to do it today, but as I said, I had extra time, so I filled it in with that.
Okay.
Okay, any questions on that? All right, let me stop the recording. Okay, or pause it.